Hey guys, Porto here. I just wanted to leave a very quick disclaimer before this edition of content with the wonderful Zacharyson. The volume levels are off. They're way off. I messed up with setting the levels beforehand, and Zachary is much quieter than I. Now, I've done what I can to remedy this post-recording, but it's still not perfect. I just wanted people to know that I know and that I will be doing everything I can to avoid this in the future. That being said, I still think it was a great conversation with Zacharyson. He's a fascinating guy, and I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know him a little bit better, and I hope you all enjoy this conversation. Hi, Zacharyson.
Hello, how's it going?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing really good, to be honest. Just hanging out. Good weekend.
Thank you so much for being here, by the way. I should thank you for that first.
No, I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I'm excited to see this or do this. I've seen a couple episodes, so it's cool.
Nice. Hey, dude. You just got back from a holiday.
I did. I went down to Texas. Yeehaw.
Do tell. Tell me everything.
So, I live in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, so it's tons of mountains. We get all four seasons where I'm at. Tons of climate, elevation. Like, it's awesome. I love it here. And that was the furthest south I've ever been. So was a huge like culture shock, huge like humidity shock. Just everything kind of shocked me, and it was definitely a lot of fun. I don't really care for the area much. I'm probably offending a lot of people.
Oh, damn.
I mean, it's cool to explore it, but like me personally, I've always loved the mountains. I've always loved like rivers, streams, like in the mountains, I guess I would say. Like there's something like a presence there almost, I feel. Like an awesome presence compared to at least where I was in Texas. It was very flat. It was hot. It was humid. It just wasn't really for me. But it was cool to explore the area. That is one thing I did love.
Yeah.
I have a drone. I have some GoPro stuff, so it's always fun to record and kind of try and make a little video out of it. But yeah, for me, I don't know. The area was cool. Cool to experience it, I guess I would say, but not something I'd want to see every day, I guess.
So, did you have friends down there?
I did.
Okay.
Some family friends, actually, and some online friends I've met as well. I ran up with a buddy I've never met before. That was kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you mentioned it was culturally different.
Yes. I mean, so in my state, there's both. I mean, we're gonna get a little political here. I apologize.
Oh.
I'm not too much into politics, but
It's fine.
the state I live in, it's very split down the middle. One side of the state's Republican, one side of the state's Democrats, and that whole state, at least where I was, is like all Republican. Like, I think that's right. Like I said, I don't follow.
Well, that's interesting though. Like, I mean, without even getting into like, picking teams or whatever, just the idea of people being more unified with one outlook as opposed to there being sort of a difference. That must be strange.
It was different for sure. I know like my friends that were down there, they were saying, like, yeah, I guess if you're from California and someone asks you there, like they will literally just turn around and walk away. Like they will not carry on a conversation with you.
Really?
Yeah, and I was kind of shocked and blown away by that. And
Jesus,
then
okay.
there was one of their friends came up to me and was just like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm from Washington State." And then his first question was, "What are you like, politics wise? Like, are you Democrat or Republican?" I was just like, "Hi, nice to meet you," kind of thing.
I'm a person. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I said what I was.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Okay, yeah." And then it was just kind of that, but I don't know. It was definitely they're more upfront, I guess. I know like where I live, there's a lot of people are kind of, I guess it's kind of everywhere, but a lot of people are more to themselves.
Yep.
And kind of closed in. They're very upfront, very like just right there, I guess. They just lay it out.
Is that just in a political sense, or are they more upfront in other ways? Would you say?
I would say in other ways as well.
Mm.
So the person I was down there to see, just overcame cancer.
Oh
Was
Jesus.
getting so chemotherapy and everything was kind of like took over a lot of her life. And I guess there was people always there bringing in dishes to their family. They were like always feeding them, always there just supporting them. And
Mm.
she was saying to me that she was like, there was people in my house I didn't even know. They were just like 5 houses down the road, a block away, saying, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Here's the dish."
Wow.
And I'm just kind of like, wow, that's a cool um like a cool idea, but
Mm.
I know like where I live, a lot of people aren't like that. It's very everyone's closed off,
Yeah.
everyone's kind of standoffish, and it's cool to that sense, but it's
That is very different from what I'm used to as well. I've when I was abroad, I had a few friends from kind of those regions like Texas. I think not Louisiana, maybe Missouri or something like that. And I had kind of preconceptions about them as well as being from the south of the US, but I'd never been. So obviously I didn't really know what the fuck I was talking about. But one thing I really did know, and I wound up becoming quite good friends with several of them. But one thing I really noticed was this kind of immediate warmth, to like, if you're in, you're in. Like if you're there, you're there. And so like I really appreciated that, and that's very different to what I'm used to. Like I've mentioned before that I don't even know the name of my neighbors right now, which is,
oh, geez.
I mean, they haven't been there for that long. It's not like I've lived here for years and years and years, but like that's the culture here is kind of in this city anyway, in Melbourne. It's very much like just keep to yourselves, don't get in anyone's business, and yeah, so I can kind of relate.
Just everyone's heads, I wouldn't say down, but they're in their own world doing their own thing. And
Yeah, yeah, and that's different again from Western Australia, where I grew up, where I would say it's a little bit more. It's known for being a little more redneck on the one hand, a little more
okay.
bogan, as we would say, which is kind of the same thing. But on the other hand, yeah, your neighbors will speak to you, that you will know their names. If you are sick, they'll probably hear about it, and they probably will come and they might not like bring food, but they'll come and like say, get well soon and all that kind of shit.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not sure which I favor. I guess they're both, there's pros and cons on either side.
That is true, and that's how I felt as well. Like it's a cool idea, I guess.
Mm,
I know for me a big, I wouldn't say issue I have, but like thing for me is I like to know where people are and stuff is, so like trust.
mm,
I let people into my home and
mhm.
that kind of in that sense.
Yep.
Um, I'm not just gonna let anyone off the street say, "Hey, come hang out with me," and like unsupervised or anything, or when I'm sick in bed. Like,
Yeah.
why would I want that kind of thing? But I don't know. It's a cool idea down there with all their southern hospitality and
Ah,
stuff.
that's it. The Southern hospitality. That's the word I was looking for.
Hmm.
So are you in Seattle? Or are you in a smaller place?
I'm on the east side of the state, so it's a
Okay.
smaller town of Spokane. Well, not I
Mm,
wouldn't say smaller. It's kind of growing now, but
mm. Did you grow up there?
yep, born and raised my whole life.
Nice, nice. There's actually a few people from that. I kind of have a bit of an affinity for that region as well. I haven't gone any further north than Oregon, but the thing I noticed there that's very,
Plenty.
sorry.
Stop there. That's plenty. I love going down to Oregon.
Well, the thing I noticed, because I remember going up on a train from Sacramento, weirdly enough, and just the landscape becomes so foresty and hilly, and it was sort of I guess it was kind of early winter when I was there, so it's a bit of snow, and some of the rivers have a bit of like almost ice to them and stuff like that, and that's like gorgeous for an Australian, especially because it's more dry over here or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But it's weird. Like I feel like a lot of people through Twitch that I've kind of gotten to know have been in that kind of Pacific Northwest region, be it Oregon, Washington, or even up into Canada and BC.
Uh-huh. It's definitely for me, it's my I always say it's my element. Um
Mm.
Most summers I'm always out camping. I'm out. exploring new
Mm.
mountains, new somewhere, and there's just so much to do in those places, and there's like so much to see. You could literally, like, for me, I could look at a mountain 1,000 different ways and still love it. Like, but there's only so much I can look at a flat plane, and it's just like, oh, that's cool.
That's weird,
That's
isn't
just
it?
me though.
That's weird. No, because like I have never really lived in mountainous regions, but I can really see the appeal. Like Australia is quite flat overall. Like there's obviously like difference among across the country. But a lot of people here are really beach people. It's a
Oh,
very
okay.
much as a lot of people like my good friend, with whom I'm thinking of moving somewhere, getting the hell out of the city in the short term future, and we're sort of discussing like, oh, where what kind of place would we live, et cetera, et cetera. And his thing is there needs to be a beach. There needs to be a beach. And like I like beaches. I do like beaches. Beaches are cool. Um, but like for me, it's not as integral. Like I can be happy more than an hour from a beach. I can still like live a life that's okay.
Hmm.
But he can't. And some people, it seems like most people have some kind of element that's their thing. And I don't know, like sometimes I wonder if maybe mine also is like foresty mountain regions, though I've never lived close to them.
So one thing I would recommend, I don't know if you've ever done it, is for me a huge, I would say kind of spiritual, but almost like uplifting thing is, I don't know if you've done it, but have you ever explored or like gone into a mountain alone with no destination planned, just kind of just
Not
going to get
alone.
lost?
You always with one other person, and usually with a we're gonna get to this point, and that's we have a destination usually.
Gotcha. Now, I'm not when I say like alone or no destination, I mean like you can stay on the trails obviously, but I just kind of just go.
Mm,
Um on my YouTube channel, I did do I would say, I don't know. I did a drone video of when I went to Oregon,
mm,
and I did that trip alone. Drove into the mountain alone, hiked into this awesome hot springs, stayed at the top, got in the water. Like it was an experience I know I will never forget, and just
mm.
an awesome experience to like be in that moment with. Um, it was so magical. Like I don't know how to explain it. It was just like the energy that was like fed into me. I just felt wonderful. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was something else. Like I can't put it into words.
No,
It's so hard to
I
explain.
think I kind of get what you're saying, but though maybe not to the same extent because I haven't done it alone. But
Okay.
I before this whole shit kicked off with the lockdown and whatnot,
Hmm.
a friend and I went to the Cathedral Ranges in Victoria,
Okay.
and we camped overnight there, and it was great because there wasn't many people there at all. It was on like a weekday or whatever, and we did a big hike into the mountain, and it had been so long since I'd done that. It had been over, like, I'd been out to beaches and done bits and pieces, but I hadn't like camped somewhere and like really gone on a trek in like well over a year. And just that feeling of just being away from everything, but also in everything,
Yes.
like, and you just feel very present in that moment. You're just focusing on what's in front of you, what's around you, what you can hear. And there is something kind of like almost meditative about it all.
Hmm.
Yeah. What
No,
led you
I
to, oh,
do.
sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I was going to ask, what led you to start doing that alone? Like, is that something that you sort of stumbled into, or you've like intentionally done it?
Um, so normally I don't go alone.
Mm,
Normally I love just hanging out with friends. We'll go hike and we'll just have a good time kind of thing.
mm,
But I did a road trip down to Oregon with a coworker of mine and one of his friends,
mm.
and they were all off running and doing things, and I was like, that doesn't sound fun to me. I'm just gonna go in the mountain, and I literally just because I had my car, I drove thankfully, so I was just like, I'll pick you guys up in a couple hours. Like I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, and actually they ended up texting me on the way out because it was like a 2 hour drive from where they were. I think they
Mm.
were in Bend or something, and I drove up to Mount Hood, Oregon,
Oh man, who'd been there?
and
Nice.
beautiful, beautiful mountain.
Mm,
But yeah, I was like, hey, just whatever, text me, stay in contact, and they're like, "Oh, we're staying at this place house." I'm like, "Sweet, I got all my stuff in the back. Like, I will camp out this mountain." So I just drove there and just kind of went with it. It's yeah, it was fun. But the alone part, I don't know. It was just that was the only time I've ever done it too. Was that time.
Mm,
Um, it was just I don't know. It's the alone part didn't really, I guess, matter to me. Like it
mm,
was just something I tried and then just did it, and it was magical. I guess I would say on that sense.
mm.
I know like when I go hiking with a bunch of my friends and stuff, I always bring my drone and GoPro when I go hiking just to try and get some epic shots. And for me, when I was doing it alone, like, oh, I can do this at my pace. I can stop and do what I want to do and not hold. Because for me, I always don't like holding up people.
Yep.
I like to be like ready and say, okay, I'm ready, rather than I'm holding someone back.
Mm,
And I feel like when I go hiking with like friends and family, they're always kind of like, oh, let's go. I'm like, well, I gotta get this cool shot. Like, let me do it.
yeah.
And it's hard at that sense, but I don't know. It was just something magical about going alone.
I can imagine. I can absolutely. I feel like in some ways it would enhance it. You know, like
Hmm.
so I enjoy traveling, and I generally travel alone. There's only one or two people I know that I would ever travel with, and a lot of my friends I wouldn't, even though I respect them, and like them. I just for similar
Yeah.
reasons as well. You know, you don't want to when people want to do different things at the same time. It's like, well, that's cool. I want you to have a good time, but I don't really care about that. I would rather go and do this, and to sort of do it to spend my time the way I want to spend it. And so like I totally understand that. And you know, the more people generally like the slower the progress, you know, like
Yeah.
you know, I used to do excursions with my students, stupid, like, and these are grown adults, you know, like there's
Okay.
all plus 18, and we'd have to do some excursion around the central business district to find some iconic things, you know, some school shit.
Hmm.
And you know the type of walk it would take you, if it was just me and you, or if it was just you alone or me alone, it would take 20 minutes to do it all. But as soon as you get like 15 people, it's 2 hours. Like it's 2 hours.
For
Someone
sure.
has to stop to do this. Someone needs to go to the bathroom. Someone forgot the thing. Someone this. Da, 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 da. And so no, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Well, and even like in that sense too, like so kind of going back just a little bit, you were saying that you would only travel alone or with one other person.
Yep.
I do see that as well because we'll get into a story in a second, but like everyone has their idea of what they enjoy and
Mm,
what they like to do. And when you travel to a new area, they want to satisfy themselves,
yep.
but as also try and satisfy other people. So it's you have to kind of like meet that middle, but versus traveling alone, you're just satisfying yourself. So you're like, oh, I want to go do this, I want to go do that, and you're just full of fulfillment or fulfilling yourself rather than trying to like fulfill others.
Yeah, is that,
Um,
and I wonder if that's like, on one hand that's kind of selfish, but on the
to an
other
extent,
hand
yes.
it's actually quite considerate, because it's like, well, no, I don't want to waste your time either.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like and I'm the type of person that when I am traveling, if I am with two other people and two of them want to go to, I don't know, to do X activity and I'm not interested, often I will just do the activity because I would rather do the thing I don't want to do than have some tension where they think I'm trying to like be fucking difficult or something like that.
Exactly.
And so just circumvent it by going alone in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I feel that 100%.
Well, and also you get to
Kind of.
meet people. Also, you meet people when you
Yes.
travel. When you're alone, you're forced to meet people, especially like when you're going to like a new town or a new city or something like that.
Hmm. No, I know. So when I went to Mount Hood, that hot springs at the top,
Mm,
there's. Let me get the whole story. Excuse me. There was like these hot tubs. I have a picture. I don't know if it's gonna show good over camera. Um, but there was these like four wooden tubs in this little man-made shack
mm,
in the middle of the woods. Nothing civilized about it except like the shacks overlooking a river,
mm-hmm.
and you're just chilling in the springs. Um, but you like hiked up. It was like a 2.5 mile hike, fairly easy. And you hike up, and then there's two spouts. Like one's natural hot springs water that you fill up the tub with, and then there's one from the river water that's freezing cold. And you just adjust the temperature to what you want, and you're just sitting in the woods alone
Sounds dope.
or with people. It was really freaking awesome. I met some awesome people up there. We were just chatting. We were just all similar interests because we're all in the middle of the woods in our underwear in a tub.
Yes, I'm sure that's like you're going to find people, like-minded people that have also decided to be there.
uh-huh. But yeah, it's I don't know. I guess traveling alone would be something I would recommend if someone who hasn't done it before to do.
Mm,
You could even start small. I mean, it doesn't have to be stepping crazy far out of your comfort zone. I know for me that was something I did as well. Like that was fairly new to me, and I was just like,
mm.
well, I've never gone hiking alone. I've never done this alone. New state I haven't been in years, and I'm just like, screw it, let's go.
I'm not going to lie. It sounds quite appealing to me, actually. I would like to try that.
hmm it's fun for sure.
So, there's a lot of places I want to go from here, but we'll go here first.
Okay.
I think there's... Growing up, I think there was like in my mind, a stereotype of what like a gamer, what a gamer is like. And despite the fact that I, love games, I don't know if I ever consider myself a gamer because of the stereotype and the negatives. It's kind of a negative stereotype as well of this kind of laziness, social disinterest. Kind of like, I guess, like the comic book guy from Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's always been
Uh-huh.
that, but one thing I've come to realize pretty quickly, especially through Twitch, is that stereotype is kind of bullshit. And there's actually like a wide range of fascinating people. One thing that I find really interesting about you is that you have clearly like a really big affinity with the outdoors, but also you seem to be a big time gamer as well.
To an extent, I actually don't see myself as a big time gamer.
Mm,
I do love playing video games,
mm,
but like growing up, I only like liked so few, I guess I would say,
yeah.
types of games. GTA was probably one of the bigger ones I did enjoy playing.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed a lot of open world kind of concept games were more my
Mm,
go-to, and then story-driven games.
yep.
But sorry, you can go ahead if you had a question.
Well, this is what I was wondering then, because I wonder if the connection is between, because you mentioned going hiking alone with no destination and just exploring. Is that also the appeal of an open world game for you?
I think so. That actually, I never thought of it that way.
Mm.
I do enjoy just doing what I want when I want, kind of thing. Like it sounds very selfish saying it out loud, but
How dare you?
uh, no, that is true. I'm the type of person to where like if something comes in my head right away, I'm just gonna go do it. Like I'm not gonna really. I guess I will think about it, but um I'll just kind of do it for my experience as well as knowledge if I do know much about it.
Mm,
Um, I just head first, kind of go into it.
mm. What got you into Twitch initially?
I was thinking this because I had a feeling this question would come up.
It's kind of my go-to.
um, it was kind of a mixture of a couple things. So my roommate is Ghost AI underscore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I've seen Ghost Eye as well, streaming Spirit Bearer.
Spirit Pharaoh, yes.
Yes.
So we both actually started streaming about the same time.
Mm.
But as well as King Fink, he is my sister's fiance. So it's very
Oh my god, really? It's the fucking...
Yep.
Now I get it. It all makes sense to me now. Okay. Shit! I had no idea. The
So
connections.
I know King Fink started about a month or two before me. No, so I started watching King Fink about a month or so before I started streaming, and I was like, "Oh, this is a fun concept." Didn't really know what to expect. I was just kind of doing it, and then my sister was like, joking around. She's like, "You should stream," and I was like, maybe we'll see." And then I watched King some more, and then Zephyrs. My sister was like, "Oh, you have to watch this guy Zephyrs. He's amazing. Like so much love, awesome guy." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, yeah." Watched him a couple times. I didn't care for him at the time. Like I didn't know what I was looking for on Twitch. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna look out, see what I like, see what I
Yeah.
don't like,
Explore.
and then um, I was just like, well, what do I gotta lose? I'll try it. And then my sister kind of like hyped me up, and then same with Ghost Eye. He's like, yeah, just stream. I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. And then I just started having fun with it. And well, actually, well, no, we won't start there. We'll go back just a little bit. I just started streaming, and it was cool. I'm glad I did. I really do love this platform and love like the communities I'm in, and
Mm.
it's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Um,
So yeah, it sounds like there was a lot of encouragement, people around you to do it.
hmm For me, I would say starting off, I had a struggle.
Mm.
I was always comparing myself to everyone else around me.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And I got in my head and it was just kind of, it was bad. I was just like, why, like, I see these people doing so well, like gaining all these followers, have an
Yep.
awesome community behind them. Like, why is no one stopping in my
What
channel
am I
kind of
doing
thing?
wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just stopped. Like, I was always comparing myself to King Fink because he was just taking off. And I was just like, that's so cool. Like, I think it was like 2 weeks. He's like, yeah, I got affiliate. I'm like, awesome. That's so cool, dude. And that was just like back of my mind. I was just like, I want this. Like, why
Mm.
can't I get this kind of thing? And
Yeah.
then one day I just stopped thinking like that. And I was just like, why am I comparing myself to these people? I'm not these people. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I'm myself. People, if they don't like me for me, then they're obviously not staying in, and I'm okay with that. I don't want people that don't like me to stop in.
I think that's so important, man. Like, you can find ways to pretend. You can find ways to like, well, okay, so people more want this, so if I pander to this kind of thing, then but then like at some point you're just no longer being true to who you are. And as airy fairy as it sounds, I think that's hard. It's probably will become harder and harder to maintain that facade over time. Like if this is something that people are going to do long term, then it's probably best to get off on a genuine start.
Yes, I feel that 100%.
Mm.
It, um,
Comparing yourself
it
to other
was
people as well is sorry for interrupting.
no, you're
It
good.
is I would say that every streamer has been there or is there to some extent, and it's constantly it's so tricky because how else are you going to measure your rate of success? Especially when a lot of people are at a similar kind of level, starting at a similar time, you kind of want to see, well, what's working for so and so, and what's working here. But then that can be so dangerous when you view it as like, when you view a stream as, well, how's Zachary doing? How's King Fink doing? How's Ghost Eye doing? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's still one that I think I'm trying to figure out how to balance in my head as well.
No, for sure. And I know like people view it as a competitive platform.
Yep.
I've heard, and I do see that in a sense, but it's also I've noticed a lot of those people are, I wouldn't say involved in multiple communities, but they kind of have like a community of their own, and they see that as like, this is my community versus everyone else. Um, for
Mm.
me, I'm actually involved in a few communities, and I would say for me, it's hard to balance,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I really enjoy it because for me, I feel like I have so many friends on this platform. I
Yep.
can literally hop into any channel and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Zach. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up?" And I'm just like overwhelmed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this is awesome." And it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, you can't. This is another topic I want to write down real quick. Um, you can't like, I guess, just expect it to be given to you. You kind of have to earn it in a
Yep.
sense.
Yep. Agreed.
Um,
I actually
I was
couldn't
gonna say
agree
something
more. I
after
couldn't
this.
agree more. Like, and another thing to add to that is I don't think people well, no, I don't want to say people, but it's hard to know how much work people are putting into things. You know, when you see X person's success and go, oh man, they got there overnight. Like, nah, they probably didn't. Probably there probably was a lot of shit that like came before. Apparently, they got there overnight. You know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I know, kind of piggybacking off that community topic is, it's more of a sense of like, I don't know how I'm gonna word this yet. Um, I know a lot of times people, I would say, wouldn't say they're jealous, but they're kind of jealous of like these bigger communities, and then they don't show themselves that much in it. And
Mm,
it's to me, it's literally as easy as, like, for me, what I've experienced is the more I recur in someone's channel, the more everyone's gonna know me, and then that's the more sense you're part of that community. Like, people recognize you more.
yeah.
Um, I know, like, for me, I've been joining in Zeph's streams for easily probably 2 months. Like,
Yeah.
every day, I'll just hop in, just hang out for a little bit, and then if I have to go, I have to go, kind of thing.
Mm.
And I know when I first started, I was just kind of like, hey, like, no one recognized me, and now I'm like, hey, everyone's like, oh, hey, how's it going, Zach? And it's crazy how much, if you involve yourself, you will be involved, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, a lot of the a lot of the communities that you and I sort of are in and out of. I think there's a lot of crossover. There is a thing where if you're willing to, yeah, show yourself more, there's generally a welcomingness from the recurring people there as they recognize you. And Zeph's a good one because he does a good job of being that extremely welcoming person. You know, like I don't go in there
Yes.
every day. It's quite late for me, but I'm in there. Like I probably pop in, sit down for like an hour every week or so, and even though I don't put in nearly as much time hanging out there just due to other things, he still will be like, hey, you know, like he has that very welcoming um, persona and kind of an understanding persona, which I think is really important. And I think that can kind of foster it's sort of the culture starts from there and then like goes down from there into chat.
Hmm. And that time zones, that's one thing that I've starting to figure out really, really well with
Jesus, I'm
Twitch.
not.
I mean, not saying like figure out, but like the people that I hang out with a lot
Mm,
is like Carrion. I know you know Carrion. It's for me, I hardly ever catch any of her streams because
mm,
it's like, I think 2 to 4 a.m. when she streams my time.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just like occasionally I do catch like the last hour of it, and I'm like,
Mm,
oh yes, it's awesome, but it's like, it's hard because, like, for me, I love to support so many people,
yep.
but I can't at the same time because it's like, well, I'm like time zones and I'm
Well,
busy doing something.
that's a really tricky thing that I've been wondering about is like how to spread yourself, you know, like because there's a few things. There is the general like I like hanging out in streams in chat because I just enjoy it because it's a good time with the streamers and the communities that I like, of which there are more than several. And but then there's the like I know that it's hard work to keep motivated for streaming and it's nice to show support. And so then there's that tendency to like want it, like I like to stay in a stream and sort of see as much of it as I can and be there for as long as possible. But then if there's someone else, I'm like, oh, you know, like I'd be nice to go say hi to them. And how have you found, have you been able to balance that at all?
To an extent. So if my work's listening to this, I do apologize. um, my phone is dead. Okay, so it's fully charged at the start of the day and dead by like the end of my work shift.
Damn.
um, I'm always on that dang platform. It's bad, but um I'll listen to someone throughout the day. Like, I got wireless earbuds I'm able to listen to at work, and I'll listen to someone's chat and I'll be like, hey, I'm working, I'm listening to chat, I'm listening to you, kind of thing. Like, if someone says like, hey, Zach, because most of the time people read their comments, they're like, oh, um what do you think of this, Zach, kind of thing, and I'll be like, oh, I'll hop in real quick, say it, and then kind of go back to working. But to that extent, like I'm thankful I'm able to support people at work that way.
Mm,
And then when I get home, it's the juggling act. It's so normally I'll have like 1 to 2 streams up, and I'll hop in and say like, hey, what's up, and I'll leave a lurk and I'll say, hey, kind of lurking, but then I'll rotate them, so I'll
mm.
occasionally just kind of like stay active in some chats for a little bit, and then I'll rotate to someone else and kind of in that sense.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that strat. I know a few people that do that strat. I think perhaps I'm too much of a boomer. Like there's this. I think if my wires get too crossed,
Uh-huh.
like kind of like can't handle too many stimulus at once. So I kind of just got to be in the thing that I'm in.
Yeah.
But there is that kind of. It's not even fear of missing out, but just wishing that I could almost give my attention elsewhere at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I've noticed too, like a lot of people are doing that. Like at least the community, like with CC and Confetti and like Trout and all them, and even you.
Mm.
Um, a lot of people, I feel like they leave lurks in different channels because like I'll be like I'll say hi in one channel, and
Mm.
then like 20, 30 minutes later I'll say hi on another channel, and like I'll see Confetti, CC, and all them. They're like, oh hey Zach, and I'm like,
Bouncing
I
around,
just
yeah.
saw you. Like what's going on? And it's fun, but
Mm.
it is hard. There's one of me and 7 million people. Like it's hard to really support everyone.
I
It's
know.
I'm starting to slowly realize that, and
It
it
does reach a
sucks.
critical mass, right, where it becomes almost impossible. I think the
Hmm.
important thing is though that people know. Well, I don't know. Maybe not that people know, but the important thing is that we know that our heart's in the right place. You know
Hmm.
that the sentiment's there. That it's there's only so much you can do, and we try. Hey,
For sure.
when I'm got these content episodes upcoming,
Okay.
I like to think about the person I'm going to be speaking with, and sometimes I just think about like, what's the first thing that strikes my mind when I think of this person?
Okay.
And the two things I wrote down about you here, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here because this is just what struck my mind.
Okay.
Number one, busy. Number two, motivated.
Yes. Yes, I do agree with those to an extent. I mean, I'm always most of the time I'm doing something. Um, but then like if I'm not doing something, I am the laziest person you'll meet. Like I am just vegged out, like I'm not moving.
Mm,
Um, week so for me, I have a very solid schedule work wise, and I'm
mm.
thankful for that because I'm able to work around that, which I love.
It's good to know. Yeah.
Um, so like for me, I'll just do a quick rundown of my daily day. Like work weekday.
Mm,
I'm normally up about 5:30, get ready for work, head to work. I work from 6:30 to 3 p.m. And then pretty much from 3 p.m. to about 5:30 is time, which I've been slacking on lately, is I like to dedicate towards bettering my Twitch.
mm.
So that be editing, that be new emotes, that be just trying to make better content, I guess I would say.
Yeah, the
Um
behind the scenes stuff.
yeah, no, it's fun. I've kind of plateaued lately, and I'm trying to think of new ideas of what to do, and that's where I'm kind of struggling with. And
Mm.
lately it's just been supporting others. I'm like, oh, I'll just watch people on Twitch. It's way easier. But then after that, I go to the gym for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I try and stream. So then come back from the gym, try and eat something real quick, and then stream.
Mm.
And then it's like 9 o'clock at that time, and I'm just wiped out. I'm like, okay, I can sleep, and then wake up and repeat kind of thing.
Yeah. I imagine that's when you say you're wiped out at the end of those days. I imagine that's a good feeling though, right? Like the right kind of being wiped out.
For sure, for sure. I wouldn't say, well, I'm kind of goal driven, but at the same time, I'm very task driven as well. I guess they're
Mm.
kind of the same.
Yeah.
I have all these like routines I would do throughout the day. So like
Mm.
the very first thing I do when I wake up is I'll make my bed. that's something I've done for years, and
Mm,
it's like ingrained into my head to where it's like, okay, I feel like I did something for the day. Now I can go to my next task,
mm,
and whether that be breakfast, whether that be showering, like whatever, it's it just helps me like know that okay, I completed this. Now I can go on to the next thing rather than like I'm leaving something open ended and then like I said mentioned earlier how I'm kind of like head first. So like if something pops in my head, I'm gonna go do that. And then if I have 700 things open, I'll lose my mind.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's driven that way in that sense, I guess I would say.
That thing you mentioned about, making your bed at the start of the day, like it seems so innocuous, but I completely understand, like there is something about the feeling of, I mean, it's a 3-4 minute thing, but the feeling of getting something done, like, is that feeling like, okay, and now I'm in getting things done mode, like, and like that's something that I've really, because you're in your mid-20s, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you might have hit that a little earlier than I did.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I think probably I was starting to, um, but that's something that I've had to really over the years. Like in my early 20s, I definitely was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna do anything unless someone's directly paying me to do it. Everything else can get fucked. And thinking that that was like a kind of freedom, but then realizing that I was kind of hurting myself because like just because something's hard to do doesn't mean it's not rewarding. Like it's the harder things are more rewarding. Like the things and that feeling of like getting up and doing something that you didn't feel like doing is like I feel like is really important for confidence in a way.
Yeah, agree with that completely. As well as like before Twitch, I was huge. I'm sure everyone's huge into the YouTube scene.
Yep.
I came across a couple content creators, bigger ones, Roman Atwood and Demolition Ranch.
Mm,
Um,
write them down.
Roman Atwood was always about positivity and like pretty much Zeppers in a nutshell.
Yep.
And then uh, Demolition Ranch, he was more kind of it was more of a gun enthusiast, but he had this quote that for a while I'd watch his channel a lot and he would always say it, but I never really heard it until one day it just spoke out to me. It was pretty much do something to better yourself today to make tomorrow easier, I
Mm,
think, or something along those lines. And it's something I started trying to live by. So for me, I don't know if that's actually true. I feel like I do. I have slight OCD. Everything has to be kind of in a perfect way.
mm-hmm.
And to me, like if I come home to an unmade bed, I just my mind like I'll stop whatever I'm doing, make my bed, and then I'm kind of like content in my head.
Yeah.
And it's to me, I like to have things set up so that way I know when I get to that point in my day, I don't have to worry about it. I know it's going to be done for me already.
Mm,
I even work that way at work. So like I work in a warehouse and I know my old boss, she would come out and kind of like I'd be sitting there like walking around the warehouse, visualizing what everything I see. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm literally looking at things so I know where I have to go to grab this to move, like to strategically place things
mm,
to make it easier to work on me."
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she's just like, "Oh, okay, okay." And then like for a while, she started like questioning me every day, like, "What are you doing? Like, why you do this?" And then now I'm like, she doesn't even question me. I'm just like, "Hey, I'm gonna do my thing, and it makes it easier on everybody. Just let me do it," kind of
Yeah,
thing.
nice, nice. So the warehouse work, I've done some warehouse type stuff. Is it like picker packing or like is it dealing with stock intake or is it sending things out? Um,
Kind of everything. So
mm,
we're it's a smaller company. There's only 3 warehouse employees,
mm,
and we ship, receive, we load out to contractors,
mm,
and we're kind of monitoring. Um, I guess we do stock a lot of stuff too, so we are selling
mm,
um, to those contractors as well. So we're, I guess, receiving in like stock sense, and then the shipping part will um, ship out to contractors or ship out to actual like job sites and stuff too.
I used to work in receiving for a Target branch, and it was like it was like almost like a mini warehouse under the store, like another floor. And I actually kind of liked the job. And I mean, it wasn't fun. It wasn't like a great time. I'd rather not be doing it. But something I really liked about it was that it's this kind of menial, repetitive task of put this thing there, organize this thing, do that thing. And I found that after a while, I could have these hours, these long periods during work where I could just think about other things. And like I would sometimes get quite creative, like think about like what I want to do after. And I felt like I had time to like put brain energy elsewhere once I got used to the work. Do you feel that as well?
100%. Yes, 100% agree with that. So I've been at this company for approaching my third year. I don't know, a long time. And it's like I could close my eyes and drive around that warehouse in a forklift with no breeze, like not crash into anything. And so me, like, there's days to where I get in my head and I'm just super like, I don't want to be there. I want to be somewhere else, like doing something else, like Twitch related or literally anything else. So my brain's thinking outside of there, and I'm physically doing it like with no issues. I'm thankful for that, but at the same time, it's like it kind of gets old to me, at least. Like I'm starting to get a little complacent at my job. Like, I don't know. It's all right.
I get it. If it's not like a consistent chout, like if it's something that it doesn't change much, like that's something that has honestly gotten to me about every job that I've been employed in my life. Like after a period of a couple of years, sometimes prior to that, but at the very longest, after a period of a couple of years, there starts to be this feeling like, okay, and then everything resets, and it's just you sort of I never felt that feeling of progress. Like it's like the only progress is to the end of the week, and then all the tasks reset, but I don't see my situation being any better. I'm still in the exact same position I was, and it's kind of that cycle, you know, like I often felt like I was in a rut with those kind of things.
That's exactly how I feel too. Like it's the Monday through Friday, like, oh, it's Wednesday, we made it halfway through the week.
Yeah, great.
Like, and then it's like, oh, thank God it's Friday. But then you like the weekend's over and you're like, oh, back to Monday. I got a long week ahead of me.
Do you think that that's an appeal of you know, trying to make something out of Twitch? Does that appeal to you for that sense?
I think so. So kind of piggyback a little bit. I'm just gonna say it so I don't forget about it. I'm currently my ultimate career is to become law enforcement.
Oh, nice.
So with that in mind, I was going to school. I was going for criminal justice. I was doing a lot, and then COVID hit, and then everything kind of like scared and got shut down, and I was just kind of like whatever. Then I got fat, and now I'm trying to work all that weight off again.
Fair enough.
But no, so kind of going back to what you were saying about Twitch is like, I know with working there every day, like since I started Twitch, I've had such a different outlook at, I would say, work and as well as like creating content. I do see the struggle of like grinding it out for success, but at the same time, it's like you're an entrepreneur in that sense. Like you're doing your own thing to try and make your thing. As is working in a warehouse, I'm guaranteed hours, guaranteed wage to get to make money that way. And it's an easy way to make money that way, but I have more enjoyment out of Twitch, out of doing something I'm passionate about rather than satisfying someone else's tasks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, being that it's your passion, and also you mentioned the entrepreneurial aspect of it, that there's no cap on it, right? Like there's no limit to what, if you put in the effort and, you know, and you do things right, then things can go anywhere. They could go nowhere, or they could go everywhere. You know.
Exactly. And that's kind of one thing, kind of piggybacking to what we were talking about earlier, like the comparison of myself to
Mm,
everyone
mm,
is I stopped, like I said one day, and I just said, hey, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do what I want to do and have fun with it.
mm.
And that's when I noticed my channel started just kind of taking off a little bit more, and I was just like,
Nice.
oh wow, okay, so this is obviously working. Like I'm doing this right. Let's keep it up, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Well, that's crazy, right? Like, one of the most common pieces of advice people give in almost every walk of life, right? Everyone's heard it a million times to the point that it has no meaning almost anymore. Is be yourself. Be yourself. And like a lot of the time when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, be myself. What do you mean? But no, I do believe that, especially for things like this, because people have a sort of a sixth sense for it. You can feel someone's comfort or discomfort, or you can feel that. When did you start streaming?
I want to say I don't remember.
Approximately.
I think it was like March.
Yeah.
March sounds right.
Yeah. Similar kind of time. A lot of people I've been speaking with. It's sort of within a sort of 3-month window. A lot of people, streamers, sort of in our periphery. And what did you start with? What was your first game that you streamed?
What was it? So I think the first actual VOD I have before I turned VODs on was Life is Strange 2.
Oh shit.
Yeah, good game. Or no, Life is Strange, the first one. I think the first game I actually streamed was I think like Dead by Daylight, like just multiplayer games, Dead by Daylight, or maybe like GTA Online. I don't remember exactly. But just kind of like games. It's awkward. I don't know if you've done it. Come back and watch one of your like early VODs.
Fuck, man. I haven't watched a whole VOD, but I have a couple of early clips. I'm like, dude, like I can see why no one was watching this shit, like man.
I know one thing I always was doing is like for the longest time, I was not hiding my viewer count. I was watching it and watching it. So like I would be streaming and I'm sitting there like playing a game. Oh sorry, playing a game, not doing anything. It's at 0, so I'm like, oh, why am I gonna waste my breath and not say anything?
Yeah.
And then I hit it and just started being myself, and it's just like people were chatting, having a good time. I'm like, oh, okay, that's something right in the right direction.
Yeah, that's interesting that the viewer count watch. I've spoken about that with a few people. Do you hide that from yourself now?
Yes and no. I mean, if I do it, I'm okay with it. If not, I don't really look at it. Like I've just forgotten about it now because I know mentally I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to just have fun. And it's
a good point. And that's another one of those pieces of advice that people say that you're like, oh, fuck off. But it is kind of true. Just enjoy yourself. Go out, like it's almost like a sporting thing. You say, go out there and have fun. Go out there and play the game, but it's true. It's true, I think.
And even like, almost challenge yourself to an extent as well. Like, because like for me, without like a challenge or a fear, you're not really growing.
Yes.
So it's the more you sit there and become complacent with what you're doing, you're not growing as a person or as what you're doing. You're just maintaining it. And I guess the more you challenge yourself, the more you can kind of grow.
I couldn't agree more with that statement. I've in times where I felt like I've needed to reach out and get a bit more advice or inspiration, I've looked for certain successful creators and their advice, and a lot of them I feel are kind of just giving this dime a dozen shit that they don't really mean, but there's a couple out there who are really legitimate. And one sort of thing that I took to heart, or sort of took and kept, was this idea of don't settle. Like, don't, just because it's doing well, don't think that that's now what you need to keep doing forever. Like, there's always improvement to be made. Like, there's always the next step. And I think that improvement mindset, honestly, is kind of the fun of it. Like, thinking, okay, now what, like, from a problem solving aspect, like what's sort of the weakest aspect of this thing now? What can I do to fix it,
Mm-hmm. No, that's a solid point. I mean, I know a lot of people are always trying to improve, and that's what you got to do on this platform. Is you got to be, and that's where the competitive side kind of this platform comes in. Is you got to try and be that next step ahead of somebody to, I would say, almost say better yourself, but to kind of like to grow, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not so much competing with, like, I don't so much look at other people's streams and say, how could I be better than them? Because I think that then does get into kind of a dangerous headspace where you're comparing yourself too much. But I do look at my shit and go, okay, well, what's, like, if I'm a viewer, what's, like, kind of a bit ho-hum about it,
Oh, so you're like competing against yourself almost.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to just constantly, like, be better than I was, or make the channel better than it was.
And that's kind of going back to what that quote I was saying is, like, to make yourself better today than you were, better today than yourself. Sorry, make yourself better today than you were yesterday. That's the quote.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And yeah, so I guess I see the point you were saying now. But yeah, that's just growth, I guess. I mean, over time, comes with experience too. The more you get your foot in the water, the more you're gonna figure out what to do and know how to do it. And I guess the more experience you'll grow and gain from it. Kind of like off of work too. I mean, like you were saying, when you first start a new job, you're gonna sit there and everything's gonna be new to you. But the longer you're there, the more it's just gonna become second nature, and your mind's gonna wander off somewhere else.
That's right? Like, you and I think where you get to a point in streaming where it is second nature, and it's, I think the difference between a job like working, working a warehouse job, or me working down at a store, or even to be honest, when I was teaching, which is supposed to be a career, and it is, but I have always gotten to a point in those things where I've just been like, okay, now that's it, there we go, and the desire to improve never stayed there after a while. And I think I'm realizing that will be, whether it's streaming, whether it's whatever, like, that's, I think, now my metric for what I want to do in life. Like, it's got to be something that I still want to get better at. Like, that's where things keep my interest, I guess.
I guess I would say that'd be most of the drive. Because, like, kind of going back to, like, as simple as making your bed, it's the goal you do, not goal, but it's like the task you do to make yourself better.
Yeah.
So the more tasks you're doing, the more you feel like you're progressing, and the more you're bettering yourself. But when you plateau at like a job or something like that, your needs aren't satisfied. You have nowhere else to go. So it's like, okay, dead end there. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. Hey, so the term variety streamer is thrown around a little bit, right? I often sort of, when people, if I get like a raid or something, I'll be like, oh, hi guys, my name's Porto. I'm I'm a variety streamer. I would say that you're a legitimate variety streamer.
Yeah, I think I actually changed my bio to something along the lines of, like, I put the variety in variety streamer.
This is a legitimate variety streamer right here, ladies and gentlemen. So I've written down what I've seen.
Oh god, I'm scared.
Cooking streams.
Okay.
With the GoPro, which are great, by the way.
Thank you.
Singing streams.
Oh god.
Which are glorious. And then in terms of gaming, you're not really bound to any one thing either, right? Horror, RPGs, multiplayer games, First person shooters? Do you play first person shooters? I feel like you do.
I've played, I think, Call of Duty once or twice on stream, but I mean, I'll play them. I'm not too big into them.
Yeah. I
It's
feel
more of like
like,
play with friends, but
what am I missing? Are there any? I feel like I'm missing some stuff here.
I just did an editing stream. That was weird.
Fuck, tell me about that. What? You did an editing stream?
Um,
That's
yeah,
meta
so
as
I
fuck.
just it
Jesus.
was right after my vacation or holiday, as you would say. I just dumped all my footage, and I was just like, "All right, guys, let's tell some stories about stuff like I was doing there," and it was kind of
Damn.
fun.
That's dope.
Just showed all my drone footage, my GoPro stuff, and just talked about it.
Mm.
It was kind of cool. It was pretty fun.
Was that a conscious decision for you to do a wide variety of stuff, or is it more that you just, these are the things that I'm interested in, and so I just want to use Twitch as a platform for these, or?
Um, yes. So it was more of just my interests.
Mm.
And that was kind of at first it was consciously like, okay, I noticed this platform is mostly gamers,
Yep.
mostly revolve, sorry, around gaming scene. And then the more I started branching out and looking at like health and fitness or
Mm.
music or like all those different kind of hidden channels in Twitch, there's some cool communities in there. And I was just like,
Mm.
okay, I'm gonna start doing what I enjoy. So that's when I came up with the idea of I'm gonna figure out a way to do cooking streams, and then I figured out that my GoPro was able to live stream. So I'm like, done, let's go.
Yeah, that's sick. I love it.
And it was cool because it was. I think I'm one of the few people who use a GoPro while cooking. Most people have their webcam set up, and it's a unique take, I guess, towards the streaming side of it.
It's like it's
And I was like,
POV cooking. It's
yeah,
pretty sick, man. I actually really like it.
it's really fun, and I've been having a blast with it.
Mm.
Um, and that kind of opened up the rest of okay, I'm gonna stream what I want to stream. And in the works, I'll give you a little sneak peek. I was gonna try and do
Oh,
it this last fall, but
yes.
fall's over now for some reason. I kind of wanted to try a fishing stream. The
Oh,
GoPro can live stream,
sick.
so I would just be out chilling by like a river or a lake and just fishing. Like,
Yo, that's a really cool idea because for me, the most fun thing about fishing is just the chilling. Like, if you're fishing with friends, couple of friends, sitting down somewhere peaceful, just shooting the shit. Like, it's kind of that kind of makes sense. That would work as a streaming thing. And then maybe you
and
reel one or two in, maybe not, like,
uh-huh.
damn.
When I searched a couple and I came across, I forgot the name of the person, but they had like a few people in there. They were just fishing, having a good time,
That's
coming
dope.
back, checking on chat occasionally. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. They're
Mm.
literally just fishing, talking to their friends. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if, obviously Twitch kind of started as a gaming thing, a gaming platform, I guess, a gaming social media platform, entertainment, etc., etc. But I wonder if actually it will be like this form of streaming. I wonder if it will be remembered as a gaming thing, or it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if we look at it in 10 years time, if gaming is just like 40% of it as opposed to 90. Because it just feels like it does kind of work for a lot of other things. Like, when you mention, I've never heard of fishing streams, but as soon as you mention that, I'm like, oh man, that will fucking work perfectly.
Yeah, and that's what I've slowly started to be like figuring out
Mm.
is, and that kind of goes back to where it's you enjoying yourself and doing what you enjoy.
Yeah. Mm.
The cooking stream started as an idea. I made it a reality, and I
Mm.
love to cook. I enjoy the cooking atmosphere, and it's something I'm able to stream, which I'm very thankful for. And then it's like, okay, I'm able to stream cooking now. Let's try and work my other needs in like things I love to do into maybe a streaming thing
Mm.
and have fun with it because I'm doing what I love to do while streaming it, which is also another thing I'm loving to do. So it's just like a win-win situation. Um,
Yeah, that's dope.
yeah.
I really like it. And I think that's something that, yeah, I've seen a lot of people around us trying to integrate their interests more. Like you can see that like people get that light bulb moment where they go, oh, I could just do this. Like I now I have a stream where I just fucking read, you know, and I didn't invent it. I definitely didn't invent it, but
Uh-huh.
there was that realization where I'm like, oh, but I could just do it because it's something that people might want to be around, you know. I'm very excited to see where it goes. For you, for me, but also just in general, like what people are
For
going to be streaming
sure.
in the future, you know?
Yeah, and kind of going back to what you were saying about the platform, if it evolves or not. I personally think Twitch could.
Mm,
Um, I think they have the potential to. If they actually get enough people doing it is my only concern. I know my coworker I work with, we're pretty close. I've been telling him like, hey, I just started like Twitch streaming. I've been having actually a pretty good success on it, and he's just like he didn't really understand it, the
yep,
concept behind it.
yep.
And I'm just like, well, I'm just live streaming like things I enjoy doing and stuff. And he's like, so people literally just watch you like play a game or watch me cook? I'm like, yeah, they watch me, we hang out, we have a blast in there. And it's
Mm.
just like, he's like, I would have never thought that in a million years. And he's an artist as well as a filmmaker.
He's
And
perfectly suited to it then, in a way.
exactly. And I've been pushing him trying to get it. And I'm just like, dude, like I know he paints every night. And I've seen some of his artwork and it's phenomenal. I'm like, there's literally thousands of people on this platform that will just paint.
Yep,
All they're doing is painting in their background,
yep.
and he's just like, "Well, I don't get it." I'm like, I didn't get it at first until I like found people, and it's like I wouldn't say eye opening, but it's like very, I don't know. It's community driven, which is cool.
It really
At
is.
least with the group of people I'm in with,
It
like
really is.
stream
And,
community and
you
stuff.
know,
So
like, I feel like Twitch is so hard to explain. You just have to do it to get it. Because I didn't get it either. It's like, I would, I like gaming. I always have. I've gone through various phases of it's not been a part of my life. It has been a part of my life. You know, that's changed and that will continue to change probably. But I remember hearing about it. My brother was into it. And I was like, oh yeah, but I don't know. You can just watch YouTube Let's Plays, right? Like if I want to see a game that I don't have, then I'll just watch it on YouTube. Like that's what I don't. What do I? Yeah, but there's a live chat. It's like, well, why does there need to be a live chat? What am I gonna say? Something funny? Like what the fuck's that about? And there's that thing where it's more than the sum of its parts. Like it's so different to YouTube. It's so different. And yeah, the term community, which like it's kind of funny because before getting into Twitch, some friends and I would really shit on the term community because we sort of felt that it had been overused when things aren't communities. It's overused as this positive adjective to make things seem kind of more connected than they are. But the irony is, it really is there in Twitch. Like you do feel that. Like you recognize people, people. It feel like you might see 5 or 6 names in a chat, and you're both sort of experiencing like a window like into you cooking lasagna, for example. The type of music you're listening to, the vibe you got, the fact that it's like snowing outside where you're at and shit like that. Like it's hard to describe unless you do it.
for sure, and yeah, that's every point I'm trying to say.
Sorry.
That's like, yeah, it's something you have to experience. It's yeah, you can't explain it. Like it's such a unique platform that it's yeah. That's
I'm sorry, dude.
no, you're good. Like
Fuck. My bad. So, Zachary, you quite often I've seen you mention going to the gym.
yes.
Is this a new development in your life? Is this something you've always had in your life? Tell us about your experiences with, I guess, physical health.
Okay, this is gonna be an array of things.
All right,
So
let's
growing
go.
up, I parents weren't, I guess, the wealthiest, so we didn't really have the best food around. Um, so I was always eating just kind of what was ever there, snacking on what was ever there. Half the time it was like potato chips and just super unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always been a bigger person. Uh, so growing up, I was pretty big, and then about freshman year of high school is when I joined football, or
Mm.
like took football serious. And conditioning about killed me. Like I lost a lot of weight, got super, wouldn't say super skinny, but I got pretty fit. Um, and then I started to like realize, okay, food's important. What you put in your body,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like how it benefits you. Um, and I was lifting super heavy in high school. Like I was the jock pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped football junior year of high school, and I still had that mentality of eating so much, but I wasn't working out as hard or really working out at all.
Mm.
So then I jumped up to about from junior year to about maybe a year or two after high school. So I'll probably say the end of my sophomore year, I was probably like maybe 210,
All right.
215
I need to
pounds.
do I need to do a conversion. Hold on.
Oh, you're in kilos. That's
I'm in
right.
kGs over here.
I don't know how that is.
Hold on
I
one
forgot. I
moment.
forgot. Us Americans are weird.
Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm gonna do it on my phone because otherwise it's gonna mess with stuff here. What 220 did you say?
About 210, 215.
215. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I know that like when I was a little bit lighter, I was like 155 or something like that. I'm heavier than that. I'm much heavier than that now. But okay, yeah. So yeah, much heavier than you are now.
But I was super fit, so I was
Yeah,
very, um, I was active, super fit. Like I felt really good,
yeah.
and then I kept eating like I was how I was then,
Mm.
and I jumped up from about junior year to probably a year or two after high school to about 275.
Wow.
Um, I was a big boy,
Mm.
and it I don't know. I started getting to the point to where it was like hard to do things. I was still pretty active, but it was hard. It started struggling to actually do little tasks like tie your shoe or to bend down to pick something up. And it took that and a lovely heartbreak to kind
Ooh.
of to really reality check me in life.
Yeah.
And it drove me to where I was like, okay, I need a change. Like it's time. And I actually dropped 70 pounds, I think it
Jesus,
was,
dude. That's a
in about a course of a year.
fuck. That's some motivational shit, guys. That's a big drop, dude.
Yeah, it
Well
was
done.
a very hard, long. It was a fun journey, but it really developed good habits for me and
Yeah.
lifestyles that I like to live now.
Mm.
Um, but ever since then, I've been working out almost daily.
Yep.
I've been eating super healthy. Like it's just 180 swap, and
Are
yeah,
you at the
and now
point?
like with this.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're fine. You go
I
ahead.
was going to ask, are you at the point where now if you don't work out for a day, do you feel like shit if you don't do it?
So I did. I was working out almost. I think it was about every day. If I wasn't working out, I was like on the treadmill, walking or jogging, like just super light
Mm.
movement stuff. But then one day I don't really know. The doctor wouldn't give me a guaranteed answer, and he couldn't scan me until it was like I don't know 4 weeks or something stupid. I thought I got a herniated disc in my back,
Oh, yeah.
so I super like I stopped working out for like 4 months. I just took it super easy, and that's actually when I started streaming on Twitch. But it stopped everything, and like I was down to I'm about 230 now, and I'm trying to lose some more weight again.
Mm.
But I tried getting I was down to about 210 I think then, which
Mm.
was what I was back in high school, and I was happy at that weight. Um, I tried going back down to that weight, and then hurt my back, went on vacation, and just quarantine hit. I was just like, let's just have fun with it. So I put on some weight, and
Mm. Mm.
just
What
kind of
happened with your back? What was the story there?
I'm not 100% sure. I It could have been work related, it could have been gym related. I
Mm.
honestly had no clue. One morning I woke up and I just couldn't stand. Like I couldn't even get out of bed.
Yeah.
I called my boss and I was like, I'm
Jesus.
not coming in today. I can't move. finally was able to like get out of bed, took a hot shower, and it kind of loosened a little bit. But then as soon as I got out of the shower, it tightened back up, and it was just I don't really know.
Damn.
Went to the chiropractor a couple times, and he's like, from everything I'm seeing, it looks like it's a herniated disc.
Hmm.
Went to my doctor, and he's like, well, I can't scan it until X amount of some bull crap. I don't know.
God.
And then
Medical
I just
professionals.
slowly started doing my thing, stretching, fighting through it, and then I mean, I still have it a little bit today. It's not as bad, but
Mm,
it's tolerable of like everyday movements. I don't really feel it. It's only when I'm like under a heavy load or
mm.
doing something stupid I shouldn't.
Do you think there's a connection between mental and physical health?
Yes, very, very much so.
Mm,
Um, I know, and even like a competence as well. I guess that's more mental, but I know back when I was bigger, I was super unmotivated, super just kind of lazy, and didn't really want to do anything.
mm,
And my mind was always so negative, had a negative outlook on the world. Um, but ever since I started like working out, because I work out like consistently almost every day, and it's once you get those endorphins going, or even just get your body awake and moving, you have such a positive energy you give off, and
mm.
people can see that. It's like the after workout glow. I don't know if you heard of that term before,
Yep.
but like
Yep.
you definitely give off a different presence, and you feel good about yourself, which then transfers into energy to like transfer to other people, I would say.
Yeah. I wonder what that is because I completely agree, you know, and even like in recently with me, so my exercise has generally been playing basketball, just playing pickup basketball once or twice a
Ooh,
week.
that's fun.
It's kind of like enough to get it done, you know, plus walking and just being generally
Mm-hmm.
active was sort of my thing. But of course, in the last 6 months, that's become impossible here. And so I had to figure out a replacement. And so I started, for me, cardio is a big thing, you know, like so I wanted to do more cardio. So I started going for runs and, you know, I do it once a week and now I go twice a week at least.
Mm-hmm.
And as fucking dark and grim as I feel before doing it, it's just gone afterwards.
Yes.
And that's great. So on the one hand, I'm like, yay, that's fantastic. So I'm going to keep doing it because I feel better about myself and I feel better about you know, everything. But then that kind of makes me wonder. It's like, well, Jesus, like I'm viewing the same reality, right? Like that's me beforehand feeling like shit, feeling like everything's like shit, and then that's me afterwards being like everything's great. I feel confident. I'm fucking achieving my goals. And it's like, which one's the truth? You know,
Yeah.
like I find that so interesting, you know, like where is, you know, it makes me realize how tied to my physical state, my perception of everything is.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's almost a, to me at least, like a reward.
Yeah.
Like it's an instant reward and satisfaction. Like
Mm,
nobody, okay, hold on, not nobody. Most people don't enjoy working out.
mm,
They don't enjoy that grind, that struggle of discomfort
mm.
to get to that end result. Okay, let's backtrack a little more. This is gonna get super deep.
Let's do it.
Um, in today's society, I feel everything is instant.
Yep.
They want it right there, right then and there,
Mm,
and no one's willing to work for what they want. So when it comes to you actually digging your head down and getting dirty and fighting through that discomfort to get to your satisfaction, it's much more pleasing. So kind of going back to your running, it's not fun to run. I run all the time too, and I absolutely hate
it's
it. But
boring, right?
but I keep signing up. Like I did races when I was losing all that weight initially. I was doing races. I ran half marathons. I ran 5Ks, 10Ks. Like I was running a lot.
Sick.
Hated it, but I loved the feeling at the end of like you did it, satisfaction kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's with like today's society, everyone wants it instant. So if they don't see the change right away, it's not quote unquote working,
Mm.
and they don't feel it like it should. And that's where I think technology and like I'm gonna say it, social media has a
Yep.
big play in it.
Yeah, you know, like this all resonates with me, and the instant gratification. Apparently there's been I again, I'm quoting scientists whom I don't know, studies that I don't know, but I just offhand I feel like I've heard about these studies where they've tried to determine determiners for success in all kinds of fields. Probably a lot of it's entrepreneurial as well. And one determiner that is sometimes overlooked, I think, is delayed gratification. Like the ability to do something hard without immediate results. Like do something difficult, and because that's it. If you go work out one time, you're not going to suddenly like be the body type you want.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel like tired and kind of a little bit good because of the endorphins, but you're not gonna, there's not that immediate change, And I think that's the same with artistic pursuits, career pursuits, intellectual pursuits, all kinds of pursuits.
Tons of things, yeah. You could even argue like relationships or even
Oh yeah,
just anything. Like it's the amount of work, even like we were talking about earlier, Twitch, like the amount of work you put in to your success is you have to know that it's going to something good. You're not going to see that instant feedback. You're not going to see that instant change or the thing
yeah.
you're hoping for. You have to constantly and consistently um get at it and work away.
That's interesting that you mentioned the dating world as well, because that has become this instant gratification thing also. With the apps like the fucking, I mean, Tinder being the biggest example, I guess, where you just like pull your phone, look at photos, arrange date now. Do you like? Yes. And it's sort of like, it is this, you're just getting these snapshots and it doesn't feel natural. And also some people mine it just to feel that instant serotonin boost when someone likes them. And it's like, right. Oh my God. Like, but during none of this are people putting in real effort to really deeply feel better about themselves, or to really like improve their situation. Do you see this, like, do you think this is maybe growing pains? Because you alluded to social media as being a big part of it. Do you think that people can turn the corner as a species and kind of evolve to get beyond this?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Mm.
I know modern kids my age, 90% of them are all behind social media. Like it's actually probably most people in this modern day are social media or on some form of platform of social media. And it's the way I feel that they're all designed is to make them super addicting.
Yeah.
And people come back each day, and I feel like each day they lose a little bit of reality. Um, I mean, I feel like if you look at the movie, I don't know if you've seen it, Ready Player One.
Oh, I actually saw that when I was in the US. I went and saw that at the cinema there.
Yeah?
Yeah, weirdly enough, like my friend's sister's son wanted to go see it, so we went and saw it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Weird.
That is, yeah. It's. I feel like it's slowly shifting towards a more of a modern, or even what's what I'm looking for, like technology driven world. Technology is rapidly growing, and people are so in love with it that they're doing new things. Like I've heard people that I think Apple or some big companies talking about doing chips now.
What?
They, like implant a chip in you, and it like they put something over your eye. I think I could be wrong. Don't quote me, but I think they're doing sketchy stuff like that.
I'm out on that. I'm out. I'm moving to the mountains. Fuck that.
Exactly, and it gets to the point to where it's like, okay, you have all these people that are gonna want to try this, which I understand that they want to try it, but at the same time, it's like you're giving up so much of your own life and experiences that you could experience firsthand rather than like behind some VR world or behind some um like I don't know, made up thing.
Man.
Or even it's crazy what's going on technology wise.
It's crazy though, because we have this we have this conversation, which I think is a really interesting conversation. It could go many ways. And I think conversations like this make life better, make it more interesting for me. But then the irony is that we are also kind of involved in the social media as well. Like Twitch is a form of social media. And it is often about virtual worlds, like there are, if you think of like open world video games as kind of being virtual worlds, or these digital communities in channels as being as virtual worlds. Do you think do you see Twitch as potentially being unhealthy, or do you think there's something a little bit different about it than some of these other platforms?
To an extent, yes.
Mm,
I've noticed what Twitch is doing with like their currency aspect of it, for the viewer,
yeah.
is can be considered dangerous if you're not careful.
Mm.
It's so easy to buy bits, so easy to subscribe to people. All you have to do is click one button
Oh
and
yeah.
there's $5, there's $10. And I've seen and heard like big streamers like Pokimane and stuff, people are literally spending their rent, spending all their mortgage on a streamer that she's just sitting there playing a game. Like,
Jesus. Yeah.
guys, I don't need this. It could be harmful in that aspect.
Mm,
Um, I don't know too much about the like viewer side of it, as in harmful. I
yeah.
mean, it can be if it's like a toxic community in
Mm,
that sense, but if you have enough self control to know, okay, I probably shouldn't be spending 18 plus hours a day on Twitch, like it's as long as you balance it well, I think you could be okay.
yeah.
Um,
I think that balance is hard, but so important, And like even for me, and I like to view myself as having, a fair bit of discipline. I could be more disciplined, but I definitely am more than I used to be, and I'm probably more than some. Um, but I've had to impose on myself a Twitch free day every week. So like my Mondays, I don't. Even though I know there's people I could go and see that would need my support, or not need, but would like extra support, or I would like to give them extra support rather. And hang out with, and there's lots of things I could do. That's the day where I go, nah, like I'm not opening Twitch today. Like I'll probably work on editing this, to be honest, and doing stuff like that. But I just try and I completely resist that urge to go on, almost as, even though that's probably to the detriment of the growth of the channel, I think it's important for me as a human being to know that I can say no, that I still am to some extent in control, because I wonder if people aren't, like, I feel like most people aren't in control of their use with whatever the fuck social media they're using now. It feels this like this real
like it's just
real addiction, right? Like I remember
mhm.
with some of my students, they were phones never left their hands, right? And I'm not much of a tyrant. Some teachers would be like, no, they go in a box to the front of the class. I'd be like, look, just don't film me or do anything weird, and just try and focus, which of course doesn't happen. And I remember once being like, no, I'm sick of the way this person's using it, this young woman. And I'm like, give it to me, give me your phone, like. And she's like, no. And I remember grabbing it, and like not forcefully. It wasn't like a life death struggle or anything like that. Trying to take it from her hand, and she wouldn't let go of it. And I saw almost like this fear in her eyes, like, no, you don't take, like, it's like taking my walking stick away from me, and I won't be able to walk without it. And I can't remember how it ended. I think eventually she gave in and was quite upset with me. But like, I wondered from then on. I'm like, I wonder how often it leaves. I wonder how often that phone, which is the connection to these digital worlds, these mediums and media, how far it leaves her side. Is it ever more than a meter away? And I'm not trying to shit on this woman. It's just one example, but does it go more than 2 meters away from her? Does she have like a waterproof thing and take it in the shower? Like, does it just go everywhere with her? And I wonder how addicted people are.
So, kind of piggybacking off of that, if you think about it, like when you leave your place, I don't know if you have a cell phone or not. what's one of the first things you do in your mind? Like you're like, okay, phone, keys, wallet. Like that's what I do.
Yep. Keys, phone,
Phone's
wallet.
always on you.
Yep.
Exactly. And it's always with you. And I feel like people, since it's with them all the time, it's almost like it's attached to them
Mm,
and it's become part of their life. I know so many people that put so much private info on their phone that I do see the point of them not wanting it to get taken away.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, why? I'm guilty of it too. I got so much personal info on my phone. But at the same time, like having this conversation, it kind of opened up my eyes of like, why do I have this private info on my phone? Like, I guess where, I don't know what's like a suitable place for it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, along those aspects, I feel like that's why people are so hard to give up their phone, to give up that quote unquote addiction, I guess, is because it's like they're
Yeah, it
attached
does.
to it.
It is like as valuable as a wallet, if not more. Which is bananas, you know. Like, and here's another crazy anecdote, which probably bodes poorly for things to come. But like at my work, same place, they introduced this thing where there was a two-way authentication to be able to log into their system. So, you know, I've already got an ID card with my photo and my name, and I can swipe in to get into the building and to get into the office and this and that, as with many places. And I've got my password on my computer, which literally has my name on top of it. Like, this is my desk, you know, this is where I go.
Yeah.
People know who I am because I've worked there for years. But all of a sudden, this system came in where if we didn't have the ability to authenticate through our phone every time we logged in through this push notification, then we couldn't get in. And that really rubbed me the wrong way ideologically, because I'm like, so you're telling me that I'm not myself without my phone? Like, because it was to prove that I'm me. It's like, so you're telling me that I'm nothing without my phone? It's like, no, but I am myself. Like, it's a different entity, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's so almost feels irrevocably intertwined now.
I don't know if you've seen the show or if they have it over there. It's called Black Mirror on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that episode of like the whole dislike and like thing. It's
Oh, the
like
social credit one with the woman that
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that's crazy.
That's what I kind of feel how social media has come,
Mm,
at least for a lot of people, is they're they're trying to get all these likes and all these approvals from people they don't know or that really care about them, and it's like, how far are they willing to go
yeah.
to get these likes? I mean, as disgusting as it is, like OnlyFans, like people are literally promoting themselves in disgusting ways.
There's only one OnlyFans
Or
that I go to. There's only one. And
only
it's
crayons.
the only crayons, and for a limited time only, $219.95 US a month. Limited time only, guys.
Really?
Sorry, continue.
Ooh, I have to sign up for that.
Goes up by 5 every time it's mentioned.
Does it?
Yes.
But
No, but you're right,
I
though.
just feel like, yeah, people are seeking for this approval that they don't get from someone, so they look elsewhere, and I feel like it's turning into such a bigger thing now, and
Mm,
it's getting further and further away from a simple smile picture to now exposing their bodies on the internet. Um,
yeah.
it's it's, I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't Me personally, I do have a few social medias.
Yeah.
I don't use them hardly ever.
Yeah.
Instagram's probably the only one I use, and I find myself sitting there scrolling, and I'm like, why am I scrolling on this? I've seen these pictures 100 times today. Like,
Mm.
I'm searching for nothing essentially.
Well, that's a thing as well, you know, like I sometimes feel like a bit of an asshole, a bit of a hypocrite when I bring up these conversations or I join in on these conversations. Though I'm being very honest with my opinions on it, because again, I spend a lot of time on Twitch. I check for things. It feels good if I get a follow. I'm not fucking immune to that stuff, but it still concerns me. It just feels so like it's awesome what we have the opportunity to do, but it's also so almost out of our control what it's doing. You know, to the species, I guess.
No, I do feel that. And like when you said it's out of control, I think it's very healthy what you do is that you take Mondays off.
Mm,
Um, to have a day of reflection almost to say, okay,
yeah.
this is me. I'm still a human.
Mm,
Like you're not letting it kind of overcome you. And it's almost like, for an example, like leaving your phone at home for a day,
yeah.
or leaving something behind, and like giving yourself that freedom of not being so attached, um, to essentially grow an unhealthy addiction or to harm yourself in a way.
Well, this is a perfect segue. Self harm to something you did a few months ago.
What did I do a few months ago?
A 24-hour stream.
Oh god.
I need to know more about this because I heard that it was coming up and I was like, oh yes, Zacharyson's about to do this 24-hour stream, and then I remember coming in and I think you were probably I don't know.
Like this?
Yeah, you were like at hour 16 and you're like, hey Porto, hey, dude, how the fuck did you get through that? Tell me everything. What led you to want to do it? I want to know everything.
So I don't know. It was an idea kind of from King. I know he did his when he hit affiliate.
Oh, he did one
like,
too.
That's a
Okay.
cool milestone idea. I could probably do that. I'll try it, kind of thing. Like I've been up 24 hours before, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just do it. I'll have fun with it. And I hit affiliate, and I was super pumped. And I'm like, all right, well, it's my time. Let's do it, kind of thing. And I took Friday off of work. Like I had everything else situated. I had a half day Friday, I think. Something weird. Came home, took a nap. Like I had everything prepared for this. Woke up and just went in streaming. And like I think it was 2.5 hours in, my stream crashed. And I was just like, oh, are you serious? That's a big chunk of time. Like, no. Then I reloaded it, and everyone like I had a timer in the corner, like running 24 hours to show that I was doing the whole like legit time.
Mm.
But then like my stream time compared to that timer, just nothing matched up, and I was like, oh no. And then like throughout the stream, I was thinking, okay, do I do a full 24, so it'd be like 26.5 hours, or do I do
Surely you didn't do
just the
26.
24 and just say I did 24? And so I got like halfway through, made it to the night, and if it wasn't for carrion and confetti, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like I I bought Fall Guys that day, and I played 12 hours of Fall Guys on stream.
Jesus Christ. And that's the perfect game to go fucking insane to as well. Like that is the
like,
perfect game.
I was in it, and then like slowly I was just progressing. And then Carrion was like, okay, I gotta go stream. Like it's my time to go. I'm like, all right, I'll see if I can hang on. And then I made this stupid decision to go play Kingdom Come, which I still want to finish.
Mm.
But I'm like sitting there falling asleep to the peaceful music and like trotting on my horse. Oh my gosh.
So did you?
People kept coming in. And...
Did you do? Tell me you didn't do more than 24. You just did 24, right?
26
hours. Man, because I could see, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you might be the type of guy where it'd just not be clean if it wasn't in one fucking recording. Yeah.
It had to be one recording.
Damn, man. I mean, props to you for doing that. Jesus.
Oh, it was, yeah. I don't know. I actually was thinking I kind of want to do like a 12 or a longer stream again, but
long ones are good.
I sit down and actually start streaming, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to stream for another 24.
I've never done any more than like 12. I do like, I fairly frequently do like 10, 11, 12, like maybe once every week or every couple of weeks. But like the effect that has on me, I just feel so drained by the end of it. Like you don't realize until you're like, oh, blah, 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 still going. And, oh, thanks so much, guys. 11 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, it's been great. Let's go fucking raid, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Bye. See you next week. And then end stream and then just go, oh, like just that feeling of like, oh my, like I didn't even realize how little energy I had left until I'd sort of stopped. And I was just thinking, man, did you immediately just fall asleep in your chair after the 26 hours?
No, actually. So surprisingly, I felt almost different. I felt like I had more energy.
Hmm.
I mean, like, towards the end of my stream, I did a little bit of role playing GTA,
Okay.
and it kind of boosted my spirits up a little bit because it was like interactive, so I was consciously focused on something rather than like sleeping in my chair, and it gave me some energy. And then I hit the 24-hour marker, and then I ended it, raided somebody, and the freedom of like being able to leave my chair and to not have a camera to like interact with, it was like almost relieving. I was like, oh, okay, this
Liberation.
is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was up for like another hour after that, and then I passed out.
Damn,
But I
man.
only slept like 6.5, maybe 7 hours. Woke up feeling totally fine,
That's crazy.
rested, and I was just like, all right, normal day, I guess.
That's crazy. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm fucking old, but like after the 12-hour ones, I'll sleep for like 9 hours. And then even the next day, I'm just still like kind of like, whew. Like I'll go and do
I
my
was a
things, but
little, like I was a little, I wouldn't say groggy, but I was a little like I wasn't 100%. I felt it, but I was still able to like consciously do things. Still pretty pretty active and felt normal.
mm.
Um, but yeah, it was definitely an experience for sure.
Would you, now be honest, be honest.
Okay.
Would you recommend it to a, like, if you could go back to your, if you could go back and speak to pre-affiliate Zacharyson, or if you could, someone's thinking about doing it now,
Uh-huh.
would you recommend it? And would you have any advice, any things that you would have done differently, or anything that helped you get through it?
Um, yes and no. Yes, to the extent of kind of piggybacking off of like the first conversation we had of like new experiences and growth.
Mm,
I think it was fun in that aspect of it to kind of challenge yourself and to try 24 hours essentially of being live on a camera and like having fun with it. Um, knowing the aspect of if you're not, I guess, comfortable with doing it, like I know that kind of counters itself. I don't know what the word I'm trying to get, but like know to if you're, I don't know actually. That's kind of a weird question.
so do you were saying knowing whether or not you're comfortable doing it? Do you mean comfortable doing it for such a long period of time, or?
Well, yeah, that because I mean, the longest stream prior to my 24 hours was probably 2 hours. So, like,
Really?
yeah,
You're pretty sick, Zachary.
I just did it. And like me personally, I've always just been a doer. Like, I'll just like if
That's
I see
great.
something, I'm just like, I know I'm gonna do it. I will fight through it to finish it at the end. And it's, I don't know. I would say yes because it's fun to experience, but no, if you're not comfortable with experiencing that yet, I
Mm,
wouldn't do it.
yep. Yep.
I know for me it was a struggle trying to find how to entertain myself yet alone other people most of the time. Thankfully Fall Guys was new and it was fun to play, so I was just
Yeah.
like, let's go. But like hindsight now, I don't know what I would have streamed if that game wasn't out. I probably would have tried and played a lot of Kingdom Come and then fell asleep and failed.
Yeah. I think Fall Guys is good for it because it's so bright. It'd almost be hard to fall asleep to those popping pinks and greens and yellows like on your
Exactly.
eyes. Damn. Okay. I
Um,
yeah. I gotta say I don't think I will ever do it, but I do see why it's a thing. You know, it's like an event. It's exciting. I got hyped for it. I was like, oh my god, he's on like hour
yeah.
17. He's still got fucking like 9 to go or whatever. Um, let me do my math. No, 8 to go rather. No. Let me do my math again. 7 to go. There we go. Got there. Um, but like, man, you know, and I've heard people talking about it before, and I think you mentioning that, knowing if you're prepared for it, that's a really, I think that's such an important thing for all streaming, probably for all content creation, you know, is kind of a level of self-awareness, like, and knowing
For
what you
sure.
can do and you're ready to do.
100% agree with that. And even like as simple as having things ready, like I'm gonna get a little everywhere here, but like
That's
for
fine.
that, I had snacks ready, I had meals ready, I
Mm,
had all these things lined up to where I knew if I was hungry or needed that, I could turn to that real quick and still be interactive with this.
mm,
Um, and even like you mentioned content creation. I know when I started making YouTube videos of just like locations I've been and stuff, I started with my drone and camera, and it was so kind of everywhere. There was no really story kind of made of it. It was just like, oh, look at this mountain. There's a cool here. This is this and that.
mm,
Nothing really blended well together. And then lately, I've been actually thinking of like I've been doing shot lists, ideas of ways to like tell the story when editing it. So then
mm.
that way it flows a lot better and
Yep.
it makes more sense to the viewer that okay, this is what it sees kind of thing.
That's cool. I like the narrative aspect, the narrative element there.
Hmm.
When did you start doing drone videos on YouTube?
3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had it. I bought it. It was kind of a stupid purchase, and then I wanted to justify it, so I started using it.
Nice.
And it's I love it. I love the thing of death. It takes a whole new element and like angle when you travel somewhere. Um, if you want, you can. I'll message you my name.
Please do. That's what I was going to ask. Like, send me the details once we're done. I'll attach them to this video
Yeah,
as well for
search
people
that
watching.
up on YouTube, and it's really fun to I don't know, for me to tell stories. I know like this last summer I went camping with a bunch of friends, and that was probably one of my most fun videos to make.
Mm,
Um, I don't know. It's fun because like it's similar to the Twitch aspect of I have my very first video on there and it is so god awful, but I have it as a reminder to know where I started from,
yeah.
to like have the grounds of okay, this is where I started to the video now of this is what I'm able of doing, and it's fun to slowly see the little details and little like ideas I guess I get as I
Mm.
go, and it's fun to see just it evolve into what it is and potentially evolve into or evolve to.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like being able to watch that progress and that growth. And I think that's something that people, I think that's why this new medium of content creation, be it on YouTube, be it on Twitch, be it on some other platform, is fundamentally quite different to other things, because in other art forms, you don't want to come out underdone. You don't want to release an album that is terribly produced. You don't want to make a movie that hasn't fucking just has a terrible script or something like that, like, or just felt like it was rushed out the gate. They tend to do poorly, right? But I think something about this new format of expression, of communication, of I don't know, art maybe, is it's kind of fun to see the growth and to see the improvement, not just as a streamer, but as watching someone else's stream.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I see you upgrade. I see someone upgraded their mic, or oh, I like what you've done with the lighting, or oh, I like, you got this, you got a new PC, or oh, you got this new idea or a new overlay or something like that, and you kind of feel like you're there for the journey, watching it grow as it happens in real time,
Yes, 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 yes.
which is super exciting. And that's something that makes me want to keep tuning into a lot of other streams as well, as like that feeling of
For sure.
what are they going to
It's
do next.
For me it's been Trout lately.
Yeah.
Trout's been his improvements have been awesome. It's been really fun to watch him just from where he was to where he is now.
Yep.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Even just everyone, but like I know I'm always finding myself tuning into Trout all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, Trout's
To
great.
see him progress.
Trout's great.
Yeah.
Master Park and the gang. Hey, I
That
got a
whole family tree is so whack.
I do have a final question for you. There's so much that we didn't actually get to, but we can do it again.
We'll do part 2 sometime.
Exactly. If you'll have me. I had a situation recently, very recently, yesterday. yesterday. And I'm not going to name names. It's not anyone that I don't. It's not like a mutual person anyway. But I'm just not going to name names. There was someone in my channel that in hindsight something happened, and in hindsight I probably should have banned them, and I didn't.
Okay.
And I'm still thinking about it after the fact, and it's kind of haunting me a little bit. And without getting into the specifics, I just want to know what your experience is with that. Have you banned many people that aren't just follow bots, or any people that aren't follow bots?
So actually one, yes. I did. So I was pretty big into that whole role playing community scene a
Yeah.
couple years ago before streaming, and I made a lot of friends and met a lot of awesome people. But I had one individual hop on my stream and proceed to constant egg on, hey, do this, do this, do this, and I gave him plenty warnings. I'm like, hey, can you please stop? I'm trying to stream. This is my time. Like, let me do this. I'm not gonna do that.
Mm,
And I gave him multiple warnings, and he kept just doing it. So I just banned him, and I told him, hey, sorry, like I'm trying to do my thing. You're ruining it. You're taking away the. You're almost putting a bad energy on me, which
yeah.
I wasn't comfortable with,
Yep.
and I was just like, I'm not having that. It's my stream. Now I know there is I think it's like ban appeal or something they're able to do if they choose to. Um,
Really? I didn't know
but
about this.
yep, there should be a way to appeal a ban. Um, I know I mod for someone else and I saw a ban of people in their chat and I was just like,
Interesting.
oh okay. Yeah, I didn't do anything with it, but I know the streamer has the ability to unban someone if they choose to.
Okay. Okay. I see. I see.
And then they have appeals as well. Like I know the individual who got banned should be able to have a way to like appeal what they did wrong kind of thing.
So do they appeal to the streamer, or do they appeal to Twitch? They appeal to the
To
streamer.
the streamer.
Okay, okay, I get that. That makes sense. Like, I didn't mean to say that. It was a typo, or you wasn't trying to be a dick.
Or
I'm
you took
sorry.
it the wrong way. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I didn't mean it to come across that way kind of thing.
it's so tricky because like I try to be a pretty chill guy. Like I don't want to. It's not something that I ever think will. I mean, I know it will happen from time to time, but it's not something that I want to have to deal with. And like when it's in that gray area, I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I tend to be like, when people are sort of, when a person might be acting in a way that like, or communicating in a way that I think might like lower the spirits of everyone around them,
Mm-hmm.
I sort of have that moment where I'm like, maybe if it sucks to ban someone, but maybe it's better for everyone else as well. And
Yeah,
so,
I do
not
feel
sure.
that. I know I've had a couple incidences of something similar along those lines, and it is hard, but then again, it comes down to like it's what you as the streamer are acceptable with.
Yeah.
Um, I know there's a couple incidences, I guess, where I've had similar situations, and
Mm.
it's hard. I know at the point of like, do you ban them? Do you not? It's kind of hard to explain, but
There's no simple guidelines, right? There's no like simple,
exactly.
like, in real life, I think that's another thing. Like in real life, if you're let's say you're in a like a house party or in some kind of gathering, and there's 20 people, maybe there's 20 people around, and let's say one person's kind of like being fucking weird or making people feel uncomfortable. It's easier for that person to realize, for the most part, anyway, that that people aren't really down with what they're putting out. They're not picking up what they're putting down, because you can just see everyone. Like people are like, excuse me, like.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that. There's only really one face you see. Like if I'm in like your chat, and I'm like talking all kinds of smack or whatever the fuck, and if you're not visibly changed by it, then I guess in a way, like I might not even know that other people could be.
Very true.
And so I've been thinking about that lately. Like,
it is hard, and I guess it really ultimately comes down to like the streamer.
yeah.
it's the energy because I know me personally, I try to be positive and have uplifting vibes when I stream.
Absolutely.
And if
Comes
someone
off.
comes in with a negative attitude, it's like, okay, why do I want them to conflict with my stream when I could essentially remove them
Yep.
and have it be back to my stream with my energy. Um,
Mm.
yeah, that's a tough situation for sure.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, right? Because it's great. Like it's a greater good thing. Because ultimately, the thing that I want is probably the thing that you want, which is to have a positive, welcoming community where everyone feels that they are noticed, that they matter, that people see them, that they're allowed to say what they want, they're allowed to have differences of opinions as long as they respect each other. But it's like, where to draw that
100%.
line? I don't know.
Exactly. And it's like for me, a lot of times I don't want to. I'm not the type of person to like call someone out in chat like that,
Yeah,
or like it's like I don't want to make a big scene of it.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's like as a person, you should know the energy you're almost giving off is not the same energy of like what the channel or the like whatever you're doing is.
yeah.
So it's almost kind of like, okay, maybe this should be elsewhere or even like a private message kind of situation.
Mm, mm. Interesting, interesting. Well, it's something that I think I will hopefully improve in time and get better. Dude, this has been great. 2 hours just went by like that.
Is that really 2 hours?
It was.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to be honest with you. I probably hit about half of the things that I wanted to speak with you about. But you know what? Like, if you come back, I'd love to have you back.
Oh, I would love to come back. This was a blast.
Hell yeah, dude.
Definitely a fun experience.
It was great to actually like get to communicate in real time with you as well.
Yeah, and I know it's really hard because like with the delay between Twitch and like even when you read your haikus, I'm like, I don't want to speak so bad, but then like 700 messages go by and you're like, well, what do you mean by that? And I'm just like, it's beyond this.
Oh, that happens so often for me as well. And actually, Kai, Cranberry's mod, it was just a couple of days ago. He was like, "Dude, why do you not have low latency on?" I'm like, "What? Like, why do you not have low latency on your chat?" I'm like, "Because I don't know what that is." And he's like, "Turn it off in the thing." Well, I don't mean to make him sound bossy. It wasn't like that. He was just like, if you turn it off, then messages will come up quicker. So I just realized I've been doing 6 months of streaming with like things coming through like way after the fact. So it makes it even harder.
Because I know there's times where I'll say something and then like I'll have some other conversation going and then someone's like, I'm like, well, oh, you meant back to like that conversation, and it's just kind of like.
So it was great to do, dude.
For sure.
So we've got potential fishing streams coming up, or a fishing stream perhaps?
We'll see. I was thinking that I know there's a fun trail that's pretty close to where I live, and I think I get good cell service most of the way.
Mm.
That's the only issue I struggle with is I'll have to have cell service to stream live from the GoPro.
Yeah.
But I thought even maybe like a hiking stream, like just going and exploring the woods.
Dude, that would be sick as well. Like,
Right?
that would be that actually kind of came to me as you were talking about being alone and exploring in the woods, and then talking about like we were talking a little bit about open world games. Like that, I feel like that would be a really cool thing to watch and to do.
Oh, for sure. That I've tried. I haven't really tried yet. I'm gonna sound like a lunatic. A drone stream.
Yeah, dude. Well, how would you do that? Would you put would you just explain that to me?
So the app allows you to live stream from the app.
Oh shit.
So then it shows what the drone sees, and then I could live stream just straight to Twitch. But I haven't figured out how I would do chat or anything yet.
Could you still be mic'd up from where you're at?
So another issue, I don't know. I know. I think I'm able to have like the drone, because I have to see what the drone sees. That's like the priority for me. I'm not gonna sit there and try and follow a drone 600 feet in the air.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. That one's. I haven't really looked too much into it. I know it's able to be done. Ever since I bought this program for the GoPro to live stream to my computer, I'm slowly realizing there's so much more I can do with that program. So I'm like, ooh, this could get really interesting.
Yeah, that's super
drone
exciting.
being one of them, to where I can like live stream my drone to the computer, which would be fun.
That's dope. Well, man, I'm really excited to see the continual innovation and evolution of the channel. It's been a blast. There's so much more we have to talk about, but we'll have to do it next time, dude.
I want to talk so much with you.
So let's get the fuck out of here, dude. Thank you so much.
Right on. I appreciate you having me.
Bye bye.